Alright, hey guys, so, sorry, I'm a little sick. Happy New Year's. I hope this is the first video that I have going up in the new year because I have recorded a couple videos that I just haven't edited yet. So we'll see which video goes up first. I think it's going to be this one. But anyways, today's video is going to be a top 10, but it's really top 9 faves of 2021. I have 9 books here to share with you, and some of them are a part of a series, but I'm still counting them as like individual books because I did enjoy each book individually. But I hope you guys had a happy holidays and a happy new year. It's been a while. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video if you liked it, and leave a comment down below for any video requests that you have, or just let me know like how your holidays went, if you got any books, how your New Year's went, you know, stuff like that. Just let me know. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, so if you hear me clearing my throat, / if my voice sounds like a little raspy, it's because I'm sick. So don't worry about that. I'm fine. But my throat is just a little scratchy. So that aside, let's get on to the first couple books. The first couple books is actually part of a series. They are the Brown Sisters trilogy. I'm sure you've heard of them. They've been all over BookTube. I have Get a Life, Chloe Brown, Take a Hint, Danny Brown, and then Act Your Age, Eve Brown, all by Talia Hibbert. These books are some of my favorite romance that I've read this year. Honestly, I wasn't really into romance before this year. I never really read a lot of romance. I mostly just read like contemporary books that were about like self-growth and stuff like that, or just like about people's like unique experiences, but I never read it for like the romance. You feel me? That was always just like a secondary thing, and I was like, oh, there's romance in this, I guess I'll read it anyways. But it wasn't like I was out seeking romance. But these books kind of changed my way of thinking. Now I love romance. Now that I'm thinking about it, I do have 10 books to share with you. I have 9 physical books, but I have a 10th book that I guess I'll talk about next, so I don't forget it. But anyways, back to the Brown Sisters. I highly recommend these books if you are wanting to get into romance and you don't know where to start. These are really easy to read, really accessible, and they are like very relatable sisters. Like, I connected with each one of them in different ways, and that is what I like the most about these, specifically these books. So if that doesn't tell you how good they are, or if that doesn't entice you to want to read them, I don't know what will. But I highly recommend these. So the next book that I'm going to talk about, which I don't have physically, as I said, is 7 Days in June by, I believe her name is Tia Williams. That book is, oh, I forgot to mention, Get a Life, Chloe Brown has disability rep, but more so like hidden or invisible like disabilities. She has chronic pain. I think she has, I don't want to like say this and be wrong, but I'm going to say it anyways. I think she has fibromyalgia. If I'm wrong, I will put down here what she actually has, but I'm pretty sure that's what she has. But she has chronic pain nonetheless, and so there was like disability rep in this. And in 7 Days in June, there is also disability rep, which I find really interesting because I haven't really read a lot of books with disability rep, specifically like invisible disabilities, but also just like regular, like visible, by regular I mean like visible disabilities that you can like visibly see with your eyes. But so 7 Days in June is about these two main characters. They're both writers. One woman, one male, and they know each other from high school, like specifically senior year, and they spent 7 days in June, their senior year of high school, together. Like, they were together 24/7 for those 7 days. And they fell in love, and then they were ripped apart. and then 15 years later they're both well-established authors who are like have cult followings, and they kind of come back together and they have a second chance romance. And I don't know if I actually said it, but the main female protagonist, I'm forgetting their names right now. I'm really not good with names. But the main female protagonist, she suffers from chronic migraines, so that's where the disability rep comes in. And it's just so interesting to see. She also has a child in the book, and so it's just so interesting to see like not only her relationship with herself and like knowing when to practice self-care and also like set boundaries with her disability and stuff like that, but also her relationship with her daughter was so interesting to see, and also her relationship with like the people around her, but especially like the male protagonist or the male love interest. It was just so good. I loved them and their relationship from the start, even though it wasn't healthy in the beginning. I loved their dedication to like self-exploration and dedication to their craft, which is writing. It was just so interesting, and there are like different elements in the book that like, I don't want to say anything to like spoil it, but there's like this one aspect of the book that when I read it, I was like, this is mind-blowing. Like, it wasn't even anything like revolutionary in my opinion, like, but it's just not anything I've ever like read before. I've never read about two writers falling in love. So it was beautiful. I loved that book so much. And it was one of my more recent reads. I read it in December. But yeah, I highly recommend 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. Next up, we have a memoir. This one is In the Dream House by Carmen Maria Machado. This is, first off, a stunning cover. I love this. And it focuses on Carmen Maria Machado and her relationship with her ex-partner. She was in like this lesbian relationship, and the story is told in little vignettes, like little stories, and it is so beautiful. I've never read a memoir written in this way before, and I love her writing, her like lyrical writing. It's beautiful. As I said before, beautiful is like my favorite word right now, I guess. But it was just so interesting to see her relationship with her ex-partner like grow and then become abusive. That's another thing. This trigger warning for abusive relationships. If you can't tolerate that, then I don't recommend you reading this book. But I'm gonna read the back to you because I just feel like reading the back to you. The back says, Carmen Maria Machado's prismatic revolutionary memoir is an electrifying account of a relationship gone bad and a bold dissection of the mechanisms and cultural representation of psychological abuse. Each chapter is driven by its own narrative trope: the haunted house, erotica, the Bildungsroman, I've never heard that word before, through which Machado holds her story up to the light, while also casting a critical eye over legal proceedings, fairy tales, iconic works of film and fiction, and a broad swath of queer history. In the Dream House explodes our ideas about what a memoir can do and be. This memoir explores so many things within her abusive relationship with her ex-partner, and it's heartbreaking, gut-wrenching, it's beautiful, it's raw, it's emotional. Like, I loved it so much. I remember reading it distinctly. I get up for work at like 3:30 in the morning because I have to be into work at 4:30, and I remember one morning just like getting up because I had started it the night before, and I got up at like 3 in the morning instead and spent the whole hour just listening to the audiobook and reading along, and I just could not get enough of this book. It was like such an experience reading this book. So I highly recommend if you are looking for a memoir that's not like your typical memoir. Next we have another memoir. This one is Know My Name by Chanel Miller. Now if you are not familiar with Chanel Miller, She is the Jane Doe from the Brock Turner case back in like 2015, 2016 era. And she came out with this novel. She published this novel, or memoir, I should say, detailing her experience through like the trigger warning, sexual assault, depression, like PTSD, other mental health stuff. So just know that before going into this. But so what was I saying? She details her experience through the assault and also her experience going through the trial, how important and influential words are. Oh my gosh. Oh, didn't mean to hit the book, but this book, I know I keep saying beautiful, but it was beautiful. It was so like raw, and she details like her experience in such a way that had me like literally gripping the edge of my seat. Like I could not put this book down as well. I read this book literally as quickly as I could. It took me a while to get through this because I was listening to it as well as reading it, and I was listening to it on like a slower speed than what I normally do because I just wanted to like fully listen and like understand each word that she was saying. I don't know how to like explain it further, but I thoroughly loved this book. And like I said, trigger warnings, so heed those trigger warnings. But if you can tolerate that type of content, I highly recommend this book. Next, on a different vein, we have a much more lighthearted picks, I guess. This is the next series that I mentioned would be in here. I said that there was a couple series in this top 10. It is a top 10 now. But this is the Heartstopper series. I have volumes 1, 2, and 3. Volume 4 is currently on pre-order for me. It's supposed to ship on January 4th from Barnes & Noble, wherever it's going to ship from. So I should be getting it within the next, hopefully, week. I'm praying. So I can reread these and then read volume 4. That's how I'm going to spend my time. But this is about Nick and Charlie. Nick is like a rugby player and Charlie is more of the like musician type. And Charlie had been out for like at least the past year, I would say, at their all-boys high school. And Nick is like coming to terms with his sexuality. But they like fall in love. It's like their love story. It's so cute. It's like my favorite gay romance ever. It's just so wholesome, but also like emotional and like real. It is perfect. And I want to say it's perfect in that they're not perfect. And that's what makes it so perfect, that they're like imperfect. Their imperfections show. I don't know if that makes sense. I hope it makes sense. But yes, I thoroughly love Nick and Charlie. Charlie is my baby, and I love Nick. They're just so cute, and they deserve the world. I love them so much. Lastly, we have actually like one of my most recent reads. This is In the Holidays by Christina Lauren. I decided to pick this up on a whim because it was the holiday season, and I was like, let's pick up like an actual holiday related book. So this is about, what is our main character's name? Her name is Maylin Jones, right? And so every year she spends the holidays with her family and also like family friends that they've known, that her parents have known since like college time. So they've been a part of Maylin's life literally her whole life. And so this is about Maylin. She kind of has a little romance going in this, but the main thing is that she gets stuck in kind of like a Groundhog Day loop, and she has to keep reliving the week over again until she like gets it right, or like until she like breaks the loop. And so along the way there's a romance. And I wasn't expecting much from this book, honestly. I was like, like, it's gonna be alright. But, oh my god. The romance in this, I was like, they really did that. They really did that. I love that. And I ship them so hard. I'm not gonna say who, but who Malin falls for, I ship them so hard. Because they just seem so perfect together. It's not like your typical holiday romance. But I highly recommend if you are in the holiday spirit still and you want to pick up a good little romance with a twist. I highly recommend. Let's see if I can pick up these books. Alright guys, so these are my top 10 books of 2021. I didn't realize how many romances were going to be on this list until I looked at the stack. But literally all of these are romances except for these 2 memoirs. So I guess that just shows you how deep into the rabbit hole of romance that I fell this year. I'm going to put these down before I drop them. Leave in the comments down below some of your faves from 2021. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this video. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.